go. You're alive right now. Okay, hello guys, how's everyone doing? I hope everyone's having a great day today. The DLC is okay. I didn't have as many videos on it as I thought I would because there was not that much content to make on it, but it's okay. Yeah, I'm better today at Turnus. Sorry about last time. I did see it, Justin. Thank you for sponsoring my channel for 11 months, nearly a year. Oh, Spirit of Justice you meant. Okay, Wasabi guy, I was a bit confused what you meant. Nice motorcycle, thank you. Does anyone need help with any bail missions? Yeah, it's, peace, love, and understanding. That was supposed to be his name, and then people said, I'll be your guide, yep. Oh, you platinum Saints Row 4, okay. I'm gonna eventually get the Saints Row 4 when I get the chance to. Well, if you're in the session, I can help you out, Golden. Oh, MC got disbanded? What happened? What? Okay. Wait, what's that, Isaiah? Yes, I've seen a Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. I want to have a video on it, this week coming up. I'll definitely play the new Dead Rising game, yes, definitely. I love your play for LA Noire so much. Thank you, Nine. I'll have another part tomorrow. I'm gonna do Metal Gear Solid 1 next. Can we do my heist later? Sure, we can, Owen Titan. Near the end of the stream, we could do it. What are my thoughts on the DLC? It's okay. It's kind of boring. How do I play with you? Do you have to have me added or have somebody else added that I'm playing with? Oh, okay, Chaz. Yeah, that AI thing is a little weird. Yeah, Adam the Clown is going to be terrifying in the Dead Rising remaster, definitely. Hello, Anonymous. I'm not sure, Gunner. Would I say the Phantom is more evil than Dahlia? Maybe. Well, there's more victims under the Phantom than there was under Dahlia. I think GTA Online is a game that probably deserves like an 8 out of 10. It's overall an enjoyable online experience. There are some downsides to it, but I think 8 out of 10 is, I think, one that we can mostly agree on. No, I've played some of the Metal Gear Solid games before. I just never got the chance to really get into them, though. Yep, I know about that. Being able to pre-order Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster too. Excited for it. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, you could, Kaysen. What is your PSN? Oh, no. What, you mean the YouTube wiki? Not in a long time, though. Sega responds to fans, not Rockstar. Well, Rockstar never really answers their fans. They claim they listen to the fan feedback, but they never have... Rockstar never communicates with the fans regardless. They just don't. Thank you, Kenyon. Thank you, Demigod. Have I ever heard of the Great Emu War of Australia? Yes, I did. When the emus had just, their population got out of control. And I think that Australia even lost that war, too. Yeah, I think after Dead Rising Remastered, there's a few zombie games that we might do playthroughs of. You should consider turning the game volume down in Ace Attorney. It's a little hard to hear you. Okay. I might turn it down a little more in the next one. Oh yeah, I love Dead Rising 2. It was a great game. No, I didn't get the chance to, Frankie. I've been busy with a lot of projects. Okay, 1 mile left to the drop. Turn the volume down on the next stream. Wait, so, is the volume good now? Oh, crap, hang on. Okay. There we go, it's hooked up. I don't know much about him, OYT. Oh, volume's fine. Okay, Casey. Oh yeah, Adam the Clown was terrifying in, Adam the Clown was terrifying in the original Dead Rising. Come on, keep having some crashes with this truck. When Metal Gear Solid Delta is released, nobody will see or hear me for at least 6 months, so you'll be playing it a lot. This new Metal Gear Solid game, this is not a remaster, this is like a whole brand new game? Okay, Kaysen. I can add you after the stream, I just can't add anybody now, but I can add you a little bit later. I could help you, GTA Golden. I know, there's mods for World at War, and I think that, if I ever do a playthrough of World at War, I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna, like, use those, like, mods for, like, the realistic World War II uniforms. I think I might do that.
Looking.
Oh, it's a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. Okay. But it basically follows the exact same story as the Metal Gear Solid 3, right? What do you think is the hardest, being a soldier with a flamethrower in World War II or a tunnel rat in Vietnam? Oh, that's a very hard question to answer. I think it depends. I think that if you're in Europe during World War II, in Europe you probably have less of a chance of surviving being a flamethrower soldier. In the Pacific, you probably have a higher chance of surviving being a flame trooper. But yeah, because the Pacific was fought in a lot more close quarters than the European battlefields, and so that's probably why you would have a higher chance of surviving as a flame trooper. But the tunnel rats probably would have the lowest survival rating because they're going into booby trap tunnels basically. No, Kanzai, hang on one second, Kanzai, let me just check something here really quick, which one was it on? Yeah, Kanzai. I'm trying to remember which cons. Yeah, I don't remember which one I posted it on, but basically Kanzai is I actually went on your channel like a couple weeks ago, and I actually left a comment, and now I'm not seeing the comment. But basically is I actually tried to add you, but when that PSN that you gave me, every single time I would put it in, nothing would come up. Like, what would happen is I would get like 100 random per people. So when I would put your name in, like I'd have like 100 random people, and I'd go through the entire list, and I wouldn't see anything. So if anything, what I will do, hang on a second, I will leave another comment on one of your videos, Kanzai, and okay, I left a comment on your channel, Kanzai. YouTube actually might have actually deleted my comment, because it deletes a lot of comments. Thank you, US versus China, who will win? What are you talking about, and what? Thank you, Kenyan, for the super chat. But I tried to add you, Kanzai, I did, and that name that you actually gave me, it just wouldn't come up. But why don't you actually message me? Just read my comment. I posted a comment on your YouTube channel. Just like look at your comments right now, and then just like just respond to that comment. Because I did try to add you, but it's just nothing came up with that PSN that you gave me. You didn't receive the comment, hang on. Check your latest video, the comments on it. I think Dead Rising the Deluxe Remaster, I think, will be... The reason it's called a Deluxe Remaster is because there's already a Dead Rising Remaster, so they don't want to call it the same thing. They should have just called it a remake. Calling it Deluxe Remaster is weird. It should have just been called a Dead Rising Remake. That's just all it should have been called. But the Dead Rising, you know, remake is going to be, I think, the best open world game of 2024. I think it will be. Dead Rising 3 was a decent game, too. In a war, US versus China, no one would win that war. Thank you, Kenyan, for the super chat. What do you think was Piłsudski's biggest blunder? I think it was not pressuring France enough to invade Germany. That's what I think it probably was. Because here's the thing: is Piłsudski, before Piłsudski actually died, I think he died in 1935. 1933 and 1934 is like the first year that basically Hitler came to power. Piłsudski basically reached out to the government of France, and he told the French government that Poland and France should invade Germany right now to take Hitler out, because Hitler is basically a threat to peace in Europe. And what happened was he basically suggested that Poland invade from the east, and then France invade from the west, and they could have easily taken Hitler out at that time. It was like 1 year into his reign. But France basically, turned Poland down, and France basically was saying that that Hitler is not a threat, and they were saying that it's nothing to be concerned about, and they didn't take it seriously. And then look at what ended up happening. 8 years later at that point, or 7 years later, France got completely taken over. Poland got invaded 6 years later, and then 7 years later, France got taken over. But yeah, that's what I think Piłsudski's biggest mistake was. He didn't pressure France enough, because when France basically said no, he didn't listen to, he basically, abandoned those plans at that point. Scenario, you have a sister and Claude starts dating her, what do you do? What? That's a very weird question. I don't want to answer hypotheticals like that, Metal Gear, Luke. I appreciate the super chat, but it's a really weird hypothetical to ask me. Is there any other question you would like to ask me, though? Pro, what is the biggest super chat someone has sent you? Well, the biggest super chat somebody has sent me is actually from Raiden right here. Raiden sent me, I think it was, like, $400 or $500 in, like, one stream. He's actually in the stream right now. I think that was the largest super chat that I've gotten. He sent me a bunch of super chats in, like, one stream. No problem. What's Claude's biggest weakness? Claude's biggest weakness? Some people would probably think Claude has no weakness. I would say Claude's biggest weakness is that he doesn't want to stop. That's what I think it is. That he's not going to stop. But also, like, Gunner, like, imagine if, like, imagine if France had listened to Piłsudski. For people that don't know, Piłsudski was the leader of Poland, before, he was the leader of Poland and he died in, like, 1935. But imagine if France had actually listened to Piłsudski early on and invaded, Germany early to take Hitler out. That basically could have prevented, so much. It's a big hypothetical, but, if you really think about it, it's, if France had, like, listened to Poland at that time, it would have just changed so much of history for the better, too. I do want to replay the Black Ops games for Black Ops 6, yeah. But the thing is, though, is, I really don't like that title, like, Black Ops 6. Like, I know that now they're going for the thing that Cold War was Black Ops, 5, and now it's Black Ops 6, but it just, I just felt like it was a weird, name. Like, it should have just been called something else, like Call of Duty Gulf War, or, like, it's some other title, like, but it's just a title of the game. That's ultimately it. Check out my community post. I gave you a shout out to you on my channel. Oh, okay, Nikki. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks, man. Thanks, Nikki. Thank you. I dropped a like on it too. Thank you, man. I'm gonna play Metal Gear Solid 1, and and then I might do Metal Gear Solid, 2 and 3 afterwards. And here's the thing about Metal Gear Solid, is, I played the first one when I was a kid. I never beat it, though. So it's going to be a different experience for me beating the very first game, even though I never beat it. Uh, Professional, do you think that games that try to be realistic that may come with problems for gameplay? At times, maybe. Um, I think that sometimes when games go too realistic, I think it may be a problem. I think that like what I'll say about like a game like the most realistic game that I play is Hell Let Loose. Like Hell Let Loose is the most realistic game, and Hell Let Loose is probably the closest thing that I've seen to actual real World War II combat in the game. Like it is very realistic for like what real World War II combat was like. And one thing that I never liked about Hell Let Loose is that in Hell Let Loose, you cannot pick up weapons. I never liked that. I never liked the idea of that. And basically what the developer was trying to go for is they were trying to go for, like, basically, like, Hell Let Loose's, like, the developer's argument was that, like, a tanker, for example, like, somebody that drives a tank is not going to, like, have, like, an MP40. But, like, the thing about that is, like, anybody like in the military back then like would have known how to use a lot of their other military's weapons. So like that's basically it. I wish you'd be able to pick up like weapons and Hell Let Loose. That's like one detail that I don't like about it. Hi Pro, I recovered from COVID and I'm looking forward to going back to work tomorrow. My horrible boss is retired and smooth sailing from here. Oh, okay. I hope everything goes good for you then, Suspect 13. Thank you, man. You heard of the Biscari massacre, a war crime in World War II? Yes. That happened in Italy, and I think that was in 1943, right? That was basically some soldiers had like massacred some Italian prisoners of war, and that was after like Patton said to kill everyone, and it was just and like the soldiers ended up killing POWs, and then Patton said later on he didn't mean for them to kill POWs, and it was like a massive scandal, and it was really really horrible. Wait, can you what do you mean, General's Alert? Can you post that again? What some question about communism? Wait, I was a bit confused. Can you ask me that again? I am excited for Star Wars Outlaws. I'm also going to I'm also gonna give the Bounty Hunter remake or Bounty Hunter remaster a try again. Is my stream fine right now, guys? People are saying there's some issues in the stream. Is the stream fine? Okay. Okay, Fernando. Okay. I see your messages. What's up, man? Dr. Devoxy? What consoles do you have? PS5, PS4, PS3, PS2, PS1, Xbox 360, Xbox One. That's about it. Okay, Casey. I'm excited for a Dead Rising remake. I just really hate the title. Like, don't you guys agree with me that, like, the title for the Dead Rising remake sucks? Like, it's called Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Like, I just hate that title. It's like, it should just be called Dead Rising Remake. That's what it should just be called, remake. Dead Rising Remake, like Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Like, I just really don't like that title. Like, it should just be Dead Rising Remake. Well, what about it, Frankie? I never really played it much. You're awesome, bro. One of the realest YouTubers out there. Keep it up. Much love. Thank you, thank you, 6X. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks, man. Yeah, games are a bit expensive today. What weapons do you think are going to be Black Ops 6? M16, M4, AK-47, Uzi, P90. A lot of different guns probably in it, yep. I'm wondering if DMZ is going to come back, because I really like DMZ in Modern Warfare 2. The Russelsheim massacre was a World War II incident where 6 U.S. airmen were lynched by the local townspeople. The lynchers were tracked down and executed. That's horrible. That's horrible, General's Alert. Thank you for the super chat. This many streams is ridiculous. You did one yesterday. I did one 2 days ago, not yesterday. But but my streams, I have a regular, like, I do them every Friday and Sunday. How to avoid getting trapped in, retail for life. Thank you, Guyanese, thank you, Guyanese Fritz, for the super chat. I would say the best way to avoid getting trapped in retail for life is to try to look for other jobs constantly. Not just looking for other jobs, seeing what's available. And what you can do is you can tell your boss, like, ask your boss if you can have a raise. And, you know, that never hurts. And if you're, If your boss refuses, tell him that you might not, you know, stick around for that much longer if you do. Don't, like, tell him you're gonna quit right there, but that you might not be there for that much longer. I might, Ryan. Let's get over the plains. Doesn't that sound entitled? Not really. Because in retail, retail places are notorious for paying their workers very low, and retail workers work very hard, and there's nothing wrong with asking for a raise, and you could just tell your boss that, like, you know, can I have a raise? I've been doing a good job, but if you don't give me a raise, there's not really much of a reason for me to stick around for that much longer. You know, that's it is a bit stressful to be in new work environments constantly, yes. How long does it take to upload your videos? It depends which videos. If we're talking about a playthrough can take like a playthrough can take like 5 or 6 hours to upload, really, because it's gonna be like an hour to record like a playthrough part. It's going to probably take like another, you know, 2 or 3 hours for it to process, probably another hour for it to upload. The drama and gossip is bad in retail. Oh yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. Yep. Hold on 1 second, guys. Let me just get a bottle of water. I will be right back. Okay. Well, OG, what is your, you say your name is Daniel Go, but that's a space, and you can't have a space on PSN, so what is the full name? Let me see here, I'd say don't always give your 100%, be cool and, calm. Yeah, and I would say is, and look, this might be a bit controversial what I say, but if you're working in like a job, especially in retail, I would say, what I would say about that is don't go above and beyond. I know that might be like, sorry, I just have a bit of a stuffy nose today, but what I'm trying to say is don't go above and beyond, and the reason for that is because there are so many times in retail where you work really, really hard, you do everything right for your company, and your company still treats you like crap, and you barely get any kind of good wage. And so basically what I would say is to only do your job description. Like, I'm not saying to slack off, I'm not saying to you know, be lazy, but just do basically what your job description says. There's no reason to do more than your job description. If you're not getting paid extra, there's really no reason to do more than your job description says. There really isn't. So, you know, they can't really fire you. When you think about it, they can't really fire you for doing your job description. If you're doing just what your job description says, can't really fire you for that. So that's something to keep in mind. That's one massive mistake that I did when I worked in retail, is that I used to go above and beyond. Like, I would just run around, do all this stuff for the company, and I would get treated like crap, and, yeah. You go above and beyond for them to cut your hours because you went above and beyond. I'll tell you, is everybody in retail usually had their hours cut when I was working, and the thing is, though, when we had our hours cut in retail, most of the time when we had our hours cut in retail, it wasn't because people were, like, lazy, but it was for two reasons. It was either because corporate was greedy, or because people were constantly shoplifting. And so people were constantly stealing stuff, and what happened was we would, basically, people's hours would get cut because of that. What if your boss sets a quota? Well, if your boss sets a quota, you can just hit the quota and then don't do any more. That's basically it. Are you going to do any vehicle reviews? Well, there really isn't anything else for me to review at the moment, David, because I reviewed the van, and I only really review special vehicles. I don't review, like, regular cars. So it's like the van was like a special vehicle. If Spirit of Justice, the first case in Spirit of Justice was a bit weird, but it was okay. Okay, OG, I can try to add you after the stream, though. What is the player's biggest weakness from Saints Row 1? Being completely loyal to Julius. The top 10 most difficult missions in GTA Online? I could do that. I was thinking about making the video, you know, top 10 worst missions instead of top 10 most difficult missions. Please make a ranking list for all the Money Tech cars. I'll be honest with you, David. I don't think I will be really good at that, because the Money Tech vehicles, really the only similarity they have is they have the lock-on jammer and the remote controllability. But, like, when it comes to just the actual cars, like driving and, like, the handling and stuff like that, I'm not really a car guy, so it's probably not the best for testing stuff like that. But what I could do is I could do another video, and the other video that I have that I want to release this video, and I want to release this video before the end of the year, and the video that I want to release before the end of the year, it's top 10 most annoying types of GTA Online players 2024 edition. And so it's been 5 years since I uploaded the video top 10 most annoying types of players in GTA Online in 2019, and so I think that, like, 5 years later, uploading, like, you know, a new video on that, like, because there's, like, new types of players that are, like, really annoying. And, like, and I have footage of I have gameplay footage on my PlayStation, like, so many clips saved of, like, really annoying people that I played with. And, like, I was thinking that would be, like, a, you know, perfect video to, like, do rankings on that. I'll tell you, though, like, do you know what one type of player that, like, really pisses me off in GTA Online? One type of player that, like, really pisses me off, and I didn't notice this really that much until I started, you know, playing in, like, bigger populated lobbies. But basically, don't you guys get pissed off when you're, like, trying to form, like, a CEO? Like, you're trying to form a CEO or an MC, and the game basically tells you that, like, max number of CEOs has been reached. And then, like, when you open up your map and you look at where these CEOs are, you have, like, people AFK in their apartments. Like, you have CEOs AFK in their apartments, their businesses, and stuff like that, and they're still an active MC. Like, you ever see that happen? And I'm, like, literally, I'm, like, thinking to myself, I was like, if you need to play as an MC, okay, that's fine. But if you're not doing anything as an MC or a CEO, if you're gonna go AFK in your apartment, disable your MC or your CEO. And so like that's like one thing that like really annoys me is like when I join like a big lobby and I literally see that like there's so many people that are like AFKing like a CEO or an MC in their property. Like they're not even playing, they're inside their property sitting there. And I was like thinking, I'm like, my god, why? It's like, why don't you just disband that before you go AFK? Been really enjoying your LA, Noir. Keep it up, you're amazing. Thank you, Communist Corner. Thank you for the super chat. And I'll have another part of LA Noir tomorrow. Um... You can either get a really good and cool boss, or you can work for an evil and greedy boss like Mr. Burns. I'm very lucky I have a good boss. Yep, that is good. But here's the thing I'll tell you about this too. You can have a really good boss at your job, and you can still have a miserable experience. It can still happen. And the reason for that is because the things that might be causing you problems, a lot of times, it might not even necessarily be your boss, but it might be just factors at work going on, like things that are outside of your boss's control. Maybe like even coworkers that are being rude to you, like not helping you out, and your boss really can't do anything about it. That's like a situation too. Or it might be that like you work like really hard, you go above and beyond, but you're not getting paid. You know, the wage that you feel like you should get paid. You know, that's also a situation. And like your boss can't give you a raise because of like corporate. That's happened to me before, where like my boss wanted to give me a good wage. He wanted to give me a good raise, and I do believe that he did want to, but he couldn't because just corporate just I respect Pro for the freedom of speech, even if people hurl insults at him. Well, thank you, Bunny. Yeah, I really don't ban people from my chats, even if they come into my chats insulting me. You know, the only time I will ban people is if they're, you know, posting something racist or, you know, posting like a scam in chat. But other than that, it's like, you know, people can come into chat and just, you know, insult me, and I'm not gonna typically ban them. Why did Rockstar patch the security cam AFK method? I don't know. It's a good question. I guess it's just shark card money. Thank you, Zombie Fanatic. Top 5 multiplayers in video games. To think about that one. I mean, GTA Online would probably definitely go in my top 5 on, like, best online games. I would say other ones. Is it late where you live? It's 9 p.m. about. No one is insulting you. Well, not at the moment, I mean, but, well, I haven't played Generation Zero in some time, so I don't think I can really say that one. Hell Let Loose is another online game that I like a lot. Hell Let Loose I do like a lot. I think Roman David Martinez. Thank you, Seth, also. The best bail office location, Vinewood, I would say, just north of the city. I'm not ignoring you, Maul. How do you have fun in Hell Let Loose? Well, I usually play with friends, play with a good squad, you know, and you can have some fun. Okay, I'll see you, El Casto. Take care, man. Greetings from college. It's a summer program with only 2 classes. The others are activity-based. It's my first time being in school where I stay for 5 weeks. Any tips? You live there, huh? Well, I guess try to make some friends, because if you're going to be staying there for some time, you want some people that you can interact with, hang out with. Hell let loose, you get shot once and you die. Well, it depends. If you get shot in, like, the arm or the leg, you gotta patch yourself up, but it really depends on where you get shot. What do I personally think about Watch Dogs 2? I think it's a good game. I just never really got the chance to play it much, because it came out in 2016, and like in 2017 my channel took off because of the Gunrunning update, and so I never really play that many games. Thank you, Notorious, for the super chat. It'll have the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake will have online, huh? Spec Ops The Line is a really heavily requested game. I can definitely play it. Me and you versus Rated and Jumbo Flapjack. Wait, in what game? Thank you, Dynasty Tariq Terry. Yes, he would, General Alert. Spec Ops Modern Warfare 3, yeah, it was okay. I just didn't like how a lot of the missions were DLC packs in Modern Warfare 3. The best GTA update? I think Cayo Perico. Added a new location, yeah, it just, Cayo Perico isn't as good as it used to be, but I would say, yeah. I do eventually want to release that Ultimate Cayo Perico guide when I get the chance on it, too. Why do you hate the Raiju, though, Sean? Thank you for the super chat, but why don't you like it? Pro, in the future, if you would, can you announce the date on roughly when your streams will be starting? Well, I wanna start my streams like a bit earlier, like Ryan, as I'm gonna start starting them like hours earlier than what I am now. I usually don't like giving specific times, because when I give specific times, it's like something might come up sometimes. What do I like and dislike about this update? I probably dislike that this update didn't have enough content, and they did stupid things like give us a 5-minute cooldown on the tow truck missions. I just turned 18 today. Happy birthday, Chase. What's your question, Parker? Operator, give me R&I. Cole, Phelps, badge 1247. My last comment. What's your comment, Dynasty Tariq Terry? I've heard of him before, Frankie, but I never watched him. Will the Seminole Indians community be in GTA 6? And if so, where will they be on the Leonida map? Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Dobermain. No, I haven't really watched much of Ned Luke's channel. Hey, Red Dead Redemption Outlaw, how are you, man? Tomorrow I can donate to you, just not today. Thanks for the great content. You don't have to apologize to me for not donating 5 caps. I always appreciate any donation, but, you know, don't think that you have to donate to me for me to be your friend, you know, read your comment, or even play with me. I always appreciate any amount, but I don't want to, you know, I don't want people to feel pressured like they have to donate to me. You don't have to, but I always appreciate any amount. Thoughts on marijuana? I think that when it comes to something like marijuana, I think it should be decided on a referendum. I think let the people decide. Just do a referendum on it and see what the people choose. Who's a worse trader, Big Smoke or Lance Vance? I would say probably Lance Vance, because the fact that Tommy helped him out so much, saved his life, and Lance just screws him over. I'd say probably Lance. Thank you, David.
What's wrong with...
Well, they're not called Grove Street in GTA 5, they're called just the families, but they have a very minimal role, yes. What's the dumbest decision a GTA protagonist has made? I would say probably Luis, going with Tony to purchase the diamonds. Probably that's the, just, meeting some random people at the docks and, buying $2 million worth of diamonds is Luis should have stopped that right away then. Then and there. No, I've never been to Texas. Yeah, Grove Street is one of the families, yeah, but... If you was given a choice to be reborn in any game world, where would you be? Oh, maybe in the Elder Scrolls world. Thank you, Notorious, for the super chat. Are you planning on visiting any states? Well, you know, probably like a week or two from now, I'm gonna visit my family in New York for like 2 months. I'm still, you know, gonna make videos and stream just from my, you know, gaming laptop in New York. But yeah, other than that, not really have any plans to visit any states right now. Can you tell the story of the guy honking at you and your dad? Also, will you play Spider-Man soon? It's a stealth game. Spider-Man is on my list of games to play. A lot of people have actually requested it. As for the honking story, are you talking about the one where my mom's car broke down? Is that the one that you're talking about? Feline? Thank you for the super chat. I hate the Raiju because it made the pyro obsolete. Well, I don't think that's really the Raiju to blame for that. I think it's maybe the pyro could have been better. Thank you, Sean. Oh yeah, I seen Blood Diamond a long time ago. Leonardo DiCaprio's in that movie, I remember that too. Make a top 5 most annoying characters 3D universe list. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Thank you, David Martinez. Sweet can be really annoying too, but Sweet's loyal. He's annoying, but he can be loyal. Yes. Feline King, did you post again? Let me see here.
She is the worst.
Is that the story we're talking about, Feline, where my mom's car broke down? Is that the one? I can tell the story again, but you're talking about that story. Okay, so I'll tell the story again. So basically, like, guys, like, a couple years ago, what happened was my mom's car broke down, when she was trying to get back home, and my mom works in Manhattan, that's where she works, and she works night shifts, and so, you know, well, it kind of works afternoon into night shifts, but when she basically gets off from work, and is, like, you know, traveling home, it's around, like, 1 a.m., 1 o'clock in the morning, her car broke down, basically. So she was driving her car, it was, you know, stuck, you know, it stalled in the middle of the street, and she couldn't, no, oh, wait, no, it wasn't that the car stalled in the middle of the street, it was that she tried to get in the car to start it, and it was that she couldn't start it, the car was just stuck there, and so what happens is, she calls me, and I'm usually not asleep at, like, 1 o'clock in the morning, and so, you know, my mom, where she was, like, she left her car, it was in Queens, because she would drive to Queens, and she would take the subway to Manhattan, and so I told my mom, I'll be over there, you know, I'll come get you, and so, me and my dad drove over, we got over there, it was, like, 2 o'clock in the morning, and, what ends up happening is, my dad ends up, you know, taking his car, and he basically parks in the middle of the street. Like, my dad is technically blocking the street, but there's really nothing else he could have done, because there was nowhere else to park, you know, there was no spaces, and my mom's car was dead, and so this was like a one-way street, and what my dad was basically doing is he was taking jumper cables from his, you know, engine, and, like, you know, hooking it up into, like, my mom's engine, and what my dad did is he turned on, like, hazard lights, you know, those yellow lights are, like, blinking, and so this is 2 o'clock in the morning, and if you drive down that street, you can see the hazard lights from, like, a big distance, like, it was, like, kind of near the end of the street, so, like, if you pulled up even at the very beginning of the street, you could see that from, like, a good distance, and so I walked all the way down the street, like, all the way down, to where, like, the corner was, and just so, like, I could basically, like, flag cars telling them, like, you know, hey, you know, don't go down this street because, you know, we're trying to get this car started up. And guess what happened is so many drivers were ignoring me. There was drivers that were ignoring me. Like, I was waving, I was telling them, you know, don't go down the street. No, don't. And there's people, of course, there was people that were ignoring me, just not even listening to me, and they started driving down the street. And so what ended up happening is a bunch of people ignored me. They drove down the street. Then there's a bunch of cars that are piling up behind my dad's car. And then there's, like, this guy, he's, like, in a van, and he's, like, some kind of repairman. I don't know, like, what kind of, you know, what kind of repairman he was, but he was, like, in some kind of, like, you know, mechanic's uniform, and the guy was in a van, and he was, like, right behind my dad, and, like, literally, if you were right behind my dad, you could see my dad has the jumper cables out, and he's trying to get my mom's car started. And so this idiot in the van is just right there. He sees my dad, like, trying to fix my mom's car, and he's just honking. And, like, I'm literally, like, I'm just really getting really pissed at that moment. I'm just getting really annoyed, and, like, the guy just keeps honking, and do you know what the guy ends up doing? Is what he does is, he pushes past my dad's car. Like, he literally, because there was, like, a small space, like, it was, like, tiny, it was, like, a one-way street, but he took that, and he drove through that, like, that little space, like, it was, like, it wasn't, it was enough for, like, a few people to, like, walk through, but it was barely enough for, like, a car to get through, and so he drove through that with the van, and literally, it was, like, 1 centimeter away from, like, hitting us. That's, like, how close it was. I thought that he was gonna scratch the car, I thought that he was gonna hit us, and so he ignored me completely. He went through that, like, little opening, and he got through that. And what ended up happening is, all the other cars that were behind him actually turned around, you know, backed up, and, you know, went back the other way, but there was, like, that one van that kept honking, that, like, pushed through. But here's the thing is, when the guy pushed through, and, you know, nearly hit my dad's car as my dad was trying to fix, you know, my mom's car, you know what he did? He didn't stop there. After he got through, he actually opened up his window, and he started yelling at me at, like, 2 o'clock in the morning, like, saying, you can't block the street, it's like, stop blocking the street, like, yelling, and I'm like, I'm literally, at this point, I'm, like, really pissed, like, just really annoyed, because, like, I was waving to the guy, telling him, don't come down this street, like, the car's broken down, we're trying to get the car off the street, we're trying to get it fixed, like, don't come down here, we got the hazard lights, everything like that. Nope, he ignored me, decided to drive down, then he started just, you know, honking like crazy, just, you know, that, and to a degree, I understand it. I'm a New Yorker, too, I'm from New York, and one of the things I'll say about New Yorkers is, if I was to name the absolute worst thing about New Yorkers, the worst thing about New Yorkers, it's not even their rudeness. That's not the worst thing about New Yorkers. Because rudeness you can deal with. Rudeness you can just ignore it. If somebody's being rude to you, you can just ignore them. The worst thing about New Yorkers isn't their rudeness. You know what it is? It's their impatience. That's really the worst thing about New Yorkers. That New Yorkers have no patience. They don't know how to wait. And that was literally the exact same situation with that guy, is he had no patience. If the guy would have just waited just a couple minutes, and eventually we got the car moving. Like, the jumper cables worked, and we got my mom's car unstuck, but he could have just waited, turned around, you know, went the other way, but no, he's, like, honking at, like, 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's probably waking up all the people that are on the street, too, just, like, staring basically what's going on. And so when the guy, like, gets past us, like, he could have just kept driving, he could have just kept going, but the fact that he had, like, you know, stopped his car after he passed us, opened up the window, and then, like, literally just started yelling at me, like, telling me you can't block the street. At that point, I just got really pissed off. Like, really pissed, and I yelled at the guy, like, I screamed at him, and I'm trying to remember everything I said to the guy, because this is, like, years ago, but I cursed at the guy a bit, and I said, like, don't you see that the goddamn, like, hazard lights are on, you effing idiot? Like, I literally said that to him, because, like, I was so pissed, like, I was, like, literally just annoyed at that point, and, like, and the thing is, my dad, like, was, like, in the middle of, like, you know, getting my mom's car started with the jumper cables. My dad, like, stared at me, and he was like this, like, just like that, because, like, my dad never sees me angry, and he never sees me, like, yelling, and so, like, I guess it just scared the crap out of my dad, like, when my dad just saw me, like, you know, cursing at this guy, but, like, I was just, like, at my limit. I was, like, you know, pissed. I was just, like, really annoyed, and the guy, if you want to know what the guy did after that, he gave me, like, a big, like, you know, pissed off stare, and he just drove away. That was it. And so that's what honestly will I say is that's the worst thing about New Yorkers, is that New Yorkers literally have no patience. That is the worst trait about New Yorkers, is that literally they have no patience. They want to rush everything. They don't want to wait. Even if something is going to turn out bad, if they rush it, they don't care. They just want everything done so quickly. And that's what I'll say is the worst trait about New Yorkers. It's not even their rudeness. It's just the impatience. Maybe he was stressed out from a hard day of work. It's like, look, generals, is literally, the hazard lights were on. He could have seen that the hazard lights were on. I was waving the guy. I was telling the guy, like, you know, don't come down here. Don't come down here. And, like, every single other car behind him, like, you know, made, like, you know, backed up, turned around, and just, you know, went back the way they came. But, like, that guy, like, got behind my dad's car, my dad's car, and was just literally honking like crazy, like honking at like 2 o'clock in the morning, waking up the entire neighborhood. Like he was like spam honking the horn, and then he squeezed past in this like tiny little opening. He nearly hit my dad's car, and so like, and then he had the nerve to just stop his car after that, you know, open up his window and start yelling at me. Is like, you know, I literally just got pissed at that point. I got annoyed. Is it here? Oh, let me look here. I had a really bizarre dream last night. I made fun of some guy's car and he got pissed off and blew up my house. I called the police, but they didn't want to do anything and arrested me for wasting their time. What? Well, that's a really weird one. Thank you, Sean, for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Sean. Wait, what trolls? What do you talk about, 5 caps? You could have put your mom's car in neutral and pushed it to the side. The thing about that though is that my mom's car was pushed to the side. It was parked, so it was parked on the street. But the thing is though is that if we put the car in neutral and we tried to push it, that wouldn't have worked. Nothing would have, because the car, because have you ever seen the way people in New York park? Like when people in New York park on like busy streets, it's like the cars are like right next to each other. It's like literally it'll take like 2 or 3 minutes just to drive out of a parking spot because you constantly gotta keep backing up and going forward, because literally the cars are just so close to each other. So like literally there would have been no way to push the car out of there because it was like so close to the other cars. So like there was like nothing we could have done, and there was nowhere we could have pushed the car to. We can't put it on the sidewalk. So there's nowhere we could have really done. My dad did the right thing by getting the, he had to block the street, but he had to do that just so he could get my mom's car started, just so he could use the jumper cables from that. So there's really nothing more we could have done in that situation. Somebody kept saying you hate them and there's no freedom here. Who's that? What are they talking about? Does Sharon ever jump scare you playing Fallout 3? He's ugly. Maybe a little bit sometimes, but it's just one thing I don't like about the characters. Oh no, that wasn't a bounty. It was just a MC mission. One thing I don't like about the companions in Fallout 3 is they have no dialogue. There's like no dialogue about them at all. Like depending on the situation. Pro, you said you're gonna help me sell. Are you in the session, Krillin? This place isn't safe. Yeah, he says that. Is college a good idea to do after high school? It really depends on what you want to do, dude. Really depends on that. For some people, college is good. Other people, you don't really need it. It really depends on what you want to do. What I'll say about college is, if you want to be like a doctor or a lawyer, like some kind of specific like job, then yes, I guess college, is necessary for that. But there's plenty of jobs that you can do without, going to college, and you can make like, money. Like, you could go to trade school and you could learn how to be a plumber. Plumbers make a lot of money. And you, after you finish learning how to be a plumber, you might work for a plumbing company for a couple years. You learn a trade, and then maybe start up your own plumbing business. Stuff like that. You could become a handyman, just online, fixing people's plumbing. Not a lot of people know how to do things around their house anymore these days. And so you can make good money like that. Here's what I'll tell you about college is college is ultimately what college ultimately is to me personally. It's more like a title, because it's like unfortunately, like people like if you I'll give you an example, right? If somebody is like a doctor, right? And somebody or let's use a better example. Let's use a lawyer. If somebody's a lawyer, right? And somebody's a plumber, and they both make the exact same amount of money, is who is going to, be more, respected a lot of times? A lot of times it's going to be the lawyer. And it's just like people think that like the lawyer is in like some, better position or something like that, even if he's making the exact same, wage as like the plumber. And it's because like, people look down on these manual labor jobs. They look down on them. They think that like I said, college is like more of like a title thing. So like it's like people look down on these like, manual labor jobs, and they think that there's something bad, but you can make a pretty good, amount of money from them too. College doesn't guarantee you a job. You're right on that. Lawyer's reaction. Yeah, I remember that too. Those videos with Ugo, those are pretty funny. There's a lot of electricians that are multimillionaires. So that's good. I've been to college. I can say with certainty that a driven, ambitious person can get 70-80% of what you get at a college. The remaining 20% are people to watch over you, catch your mistakes. Yeah, and I will say also is that college has gotten really toxic. That's what I'll say about that too. Is that there are like so many jobs that they just like they look at you like you're stupid or something if you don't have like a college degree. And like to me, I think that's ridiculous. It's like even there are even some like McDonald's out there, and I'm not even joking that like want you to have a college degree, which that's like stupid. You know, why would you need like a college degree to work at like a place like McDonald's? So I'll say that it's like there are some jobs, and I could even say it's discrimination. You could make the argument it is discrimination against people who don't have college degrees, because like if you are looking for a job that like requires a specific college degree, then okay. But if you're applying to a job that really is not based on college education, and they are hiring the people that primarily have college education, I would say it's kind of discrimination against the people that don't have college education. So that's one thing I'll say that's one thing that's like stupid about it. Yeah, I got better sleep. I'm sorry about that stream on Red Dead, guys. I was like nearly passed out on it. Yeah, but Jacob, the thing about it is that them having like a college degree doesn't necessarily mean that they know it. And like and know the stuff. And I'll give you a perfect example. College, the people that overhyped college have literally hurt people, like have hurt the people in like a lot of other jobs. And the reason for that is because these idiots who have overhyped college so much, they have hurt people who work a lot of these manual labor jobs, because some of these manual labor jobs now require college, and it's primarily because of those idiots. It's primarily because of those stupid people who are constantly like, you know, saying that you need college for everything. If you don't have college, you're an idiot. There's like people like that say that. There's some people that push that propaganda, and because they push so much of that propaganda, jobs that don't even need college are now asking people to have a college degree. And so those people that are like constantly pushing college, I said, have hurt a lot more other people, because they're basically forcing them to go to college for something that they didn't need to go to college for in the past. And a perfect example of this is one of my friends, my best friends in real life, right? His dad worked at Verizon for decades. Just decades. I don't remember exactly what he did in Verizon. You know, he was more of a higher up person. I don't remember if he was corporate or what he was, but he worked at Verizon for like decades. He had no college degree. So, you know, he started working there, and he's worked there for decades. And what happened was, out of nowhere, one day, his boss basically told him, you need a college degree to keep working here. And he's like, what? It's like, I've been working here for, like, you know, decades. I know how to do the job. And the boss basically says to him, yeah, I know you know how to do the job, but, like, the new policy is that, like, everybody that works in this position, like, needs a college degree. He's like, this is stupid. Like, this is dumb. And so, literally, he had to go to college and waste his money on a degree that he basically knew what he was doing already at the job. So he knew how to do the job. He wasn't getting a promotion. He was still keeping the exact same title. He had the exact same responsibilities, and he had to go to college specifically for that. So that's what I say is like these toxic people that have literally pushed college so much have caused that. They've caused that environment where basically like employers are constantly like looking for everything and like looking for college and stuff like that. And one other thing is like basically what the media does is the media basically like says things like, oh, you know, in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s and 80s, you know, the majority of Americans did not have college degrees. And what the media is basically trying to do is they're trying to make it seem like people in the 60s, 50s, 70s, and 80s were stupid. But do you ever wonder why the majority of people didn't have college degrees in that time period in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s? Do you know why? It's not that people were stupid. The reason that people didn't have a lot of college degrees back then is because a lot of the jobs didn't need it that need it today. So a lot of the jobs like back then, decades ago, They didn't need college education for that. And what would happen is you would actually go to apply to a job, and the job would basically train you. They would pay for like the class. They would teach you how to do the job and everything like that. You didn't need a college degree for that. It wasn't until like the 1990s and the 2000s where basically stuff like that started changing, and now you need like college degrees for jobs that don't even really require college degrees. So that's honestly what I'll say about it, is that it's this whole college, like, you know, push has basically just like hurt a lot of other workers, and I say that it's gotten really stupid at this point too. It's gotten really dumb. I went to college and decided to finish after 1 year. I wanted to do my own thing. Yeah. And everybody should do whatever they want. And look, I'm not saying that college is necessarily a bad thing. If you want to go to college, and, you know, having more education is never a bad thing. But I'm saying is there's a lot of jobs that don't require college, but yet they still want you to have college, which I personally think is stupid. I think personally for me is like, you know, if somebody can demonstrate the skills that they for the job and, like, you know, have the smarts for it, like, just having the degree is not really, you know, proof. It's maybe it's like proof that you have more education. But it's not necessarily prove that you're going to be a capable worker in that field. Okay, I'll see you, Master Punk. College is a scam. Well, I wouldn't say that it's a scam. It really depends on what you want to go for. There are certain things that you go to college for that can definitely be like a scam, and can definitely like be a waste of money. I will tell you though is that you know, one thing that does like irritate me a bit is like there are some people that like go to college for like years, and they spent like years getting like these expensive degrees, and they get like thousands of dollars in debt, and these people like expect to like get a job right after they get out of college. Like they'll spend years in college in fancy school that their parents will pay for, or they'll take on like thousands of dollars of debt, and then the second that they get their big fancy degree, they expect to have like a job lined up right in their face. And when they don't get the job lined up in their face, they start like complaining and like, you know, making a big deal out of it. And there's those people on TikTok. You ever see those videos on TikTok that like basically people basically start saying, oh, I went to college for like 4 or 5 years and I got this degree, and there's like no jobs anywhere, and like I can't find a job in this field, and stuff like that. And so like they expect to like have a job lined up for them like right after, like they think that just because they have like this piece of paper that they finished this education, they think that they're gonna have like a job lined up for themselves right away. Like, they don't understand it takes years to get into like a really good job. Like, you have to work smaller jobs before you get like that one really big good job. And so like these people, like they go to college and they expect to have like this really big, you know, fancy job lined up for themselves right after they get out. And you know one of those, I'll tell you, is like, you know, my half brother, for example, is like a really entitled guy. Like my half brother, do you know what he did? He went to college for philosophy. That's what he went to college for. Like, he spent years going for philosophy, and he spent thousands of dollars, well, thousands of zloty it would be, because he went to college in Poland. So he spent like, you know, thousands of zloty. I don't even know how much it would be in total, but basically is he got a degree in philosophy, which it's not necessarily a bad thing to know philosophy, because some philosophers are very smart people. But, you know, what do you really expect to do with a philosophy degree? Like, what do you expect to do with that, right? It's like maybe if you write a book, you can make some money. Maybe you can, like, you know, help with like some documentaries and stuff like that. But other than that, there really isn't much you can do with a philosophy degree. Maybe the only real job I can think of is being a philosophy teacher. Maybe that's the only thing you can really do with a philosophy degree. But like, philosophy degree, it's like there's nothing really to get you a job with that. And so he got a degree in philosophy, and then guess what he did? All he did was he complained. He just kept complaining and complaining. I can't find a job in philosophy. There's no other job for philosophy. And then eventually he started like doing photography. That's like what he started doing. And he didn't even go to college for that. So and he ended up making good money from that. So literally, it's that's what I'll say, is that there's plenty of these useless degrees that people think that they need college for to get a good job, but you don't necessarily need it. So I think that ultimately, if people want to go to college, it should be their choice. But I think it's kind of stupid when like society pressures people into going to college, and they expect people to go to college. I personally think that it's not necessary. I don't know if the trophies physically appear for the bail office. I don't know. Ways to play the Saboteur on modern PC? Well, I mean, Steam is the best way right now, Patrick. It's on Steam. What about psychology? Well, psychology is a very useful degree. You know, psychology, there's so many things that you can do in psychology. Like, with a psychology degree, you could probably get a job as, like, a nurse in, like, you know, a mental health, you know, home. You could probably do that, like, early on just with a psychology degree because you understand, like, people's emotions and you understand how people act. And so and then you can, you know, work your way up to becoming, like, a therapist, you know, a lot of different things you can do with a psychology degree. So there's, like, a psychology degree, I would say, would probably be a useful degree. But, like, philosophy, that's, like, something stupid. You want to know something? I'll tell you something else, something really stupid. One of my best friends, in real life, right? He ended up moving to Maine, and he is a state trooper in Maine, or is he's some kind of cop? I'm pretty sure it's state trooper, but anyways, about his position. Is he works in like a very small police department in his town, and like the very small, I think it's like max like 10 cops in it because it's like a very small town in like the woods in Maine. And about that is the police chief at that town is like retiring in a number of years, and like he talked to my friend and he basically told him that he wants him to be police chief when he retires because he think he'd do a good job at it. But you know what he basically told my friend? He told my friend, you need to get a degree from college. Like, you need to get a bachelor's degree. And my friend already knows all the policies. He knows everything. So if he was to be police chief, he would know how to run the town. He would know how to do, you know, everything good. So he'd know how to you know, do all the jobs. But basically, the policy states that he needs to have a bachelor's degree. So even though he knows how to do the job, he needs to have a bachelor's degree. And this is exactly the point that I'm getting at, is that like a lot of these jobs, they require you to have like a degree, even if you don't really need the degree. It's stupid. It's dumb. So that's What about a degree in history? A degree in history is I think that having a degree in history is more for yourself. That's what I think it is. Like, more for your personal self, because you have, like, a knowledge of history, you know it really well. But, like, having a degree in history is not really... And I'll be honest, for somebody who likes history, I don't think that a history degree would really, you know, get you a job in most places. You know, probably the only two places that I can think of where a history degree would help you is if you're like an author, if you want to write books and stuff like that on history, or if you want to be like a teacher. But other than that, the history, you know, degree is not really going to do that much for you. But what I will say is a lot of people, like, you know, they come to my channel and they think that I have a history degree because this is how much I talk about history, like, in my videos and, like, my streams, and people think that I have a history degree, but I don't have a history degree. I just like reading history. And so a lot of education that you can get, you can actually get it online. So, like, when you really think about it, everything that you get from a history degree, you can get online. Just like reading free stuff. You can just read history for free online. You can watch documentaries. So, like, all of the knowledge that you get from history, you can just get all on your own from like a history degree. You can get on your own. So that's what I'll say about it too. Well, maybe there is you know maybe there is like a you know, a counselor that could maybe help you get a job, but like. Very unpopular opinion. CJ is an overrated protagonist. I think he's still a great character, but I feel like he's dumb and young and a bust at the sweet. Well, I like CJ. I think I mean, see, I think when you really think about it, I think that CJ is the youngest protagonist in the GTA series. Is he? I think he is the youngest character in the GTA series, isn't he? We're not talking about, like, what year people are born. We're just talking about what year they are, like, when you play as them. Isn't he the youngest? I think CJ's, like, 22. Isn't he 22? 22, 21? So I think he's the youngest, you know, playable character in the series. He's 24? Okay, so he is the youngest character in the GTA series. I think he is. The oldest character in the GTA series is Michael or Trevor. It's Michael or Trevor. They're the oldest characters. The oldest character in the 3D universe is Tommy Vercetti. I know that. Yeah. The youngest character in the HD universe, I think it's Franklin. Yeah, Franklin is the youngest one. Yeah, Franklin's the youngest guy. But I tried the Saboteur on Steam and it crashed on Windows 11. It requires minimum Windows 7 though, but it seems incompatible to modern versions. Really? I think I have I'm stupid right now. Like, how do I tell what version of Windows I even have on my computer? I think I have the newest version of Windows, but I've run Saboteur fine, and it's not even, and I haven't had any crashes on the Steam version, so I don't know then, Patrick. Yeah, check system information, system information, let me see here. I have Microsoft Windows 10 Pro, that's what it says I have. And so I don't have any crashing on Saboteur. I'll answer the bricks question in a moment, Sky. No, I guess I just never paid attention to what version of Windows I have. I do update my computer a lot, but I guess I just didn't pay attention to what version I have. Oh, and Krillin needed help selling, right? Krillin, are you still here, by the way? I am not really a computer guy, believe it or not, I'm not. People think that I know computers really well because I'm a YouTuber, but I actually don't know computers that well. I will say though about it is I'm good at editing, so in editing videos I know how to do that. I know how to, like, I know how to edit in Photoshop too. But like when it comes to computer specs and stuff like that, and what's the best for like a computer, I don't know that. Can you add me on Steam? What is your Steam, Sean? Yeah, my best friend in real life knows computers really well. He actually built this computer for me. I paid him for it, and he built this this fancy computer for me. Hey, Pro, do you think shark cards are worth it right now if GTA 5 Online is coming to an end soon? Not really, because there's plenty of ways that you can make money in GTA Online. Thank you, Maga Malo. Sky was asking me what I think of bricks. When we're talking bricks, you're talking about the South you're talking about South Africa, India, China, it's South Africa, India, China, Russia. I'm trying to remember the other countries that are in it. But basically, it's like their alliance. It's not really an alliance. It's more like an economic alliance. It's like a trading, basically, like block. Brazil. How could I forget Brazil is in it too? I don't necessarily think that BRICS is a bad thing, because I think that it's always good to have competition in the world, because you don't want one country to control the majority of the trade in the world. So I think it is a good thing that there are countries competing with each other in trade, that it's not just the U.S. What I will say though is that generally I would not want I'll tell you something. If I was like if I was like a smaller country, I would not want to be part of BRICS though. And the reason I would not want to be part of BRICS is because China has like massive influence in BRICS, and China can harass other countries in BRICS. That's what I'll say about that. Like, if you look at a country like India, for example, like China has harassed India badly in BRICS. And like China, I don't think India is going to end up leaving BRICS, but India has gotten like really pissed at China for like a lot of problems that they've caused them. So that's what I'll say about that. And also like specifically if you are like a Central Asian country, if you're a Central Asian country and you join BRICS, Russia is probably going to dominate your economy. So that's like another downside of it too. What I'll say about it. But I remember one president that I actually do like in other countries is I like the president of Argentina. That guy Milei, I do like him. I think I like a lot of his policies, how he wants to shrink the government. He wants to have the government as literally as small as possible. He's closed down a lot of the agencies. I do think he did the right thing by pulling Argentina out of BRICS, because I think that would have caused Argentina problems in the long run. There are like there's like people that are like saying like there's people out there that are like saying that he pulled out of BRICS because of like American pressure and stuff like that. That's not true. He didn't leave BRICS because of like pressure from the U.S. And the thing is though is that the U.S. government hates Milei. They didn't like him at the start. They didn't want him to become president of Argentina. So literally, Milei did not pull out of BRICS because of pressure from the U.S. government. The reason that he pulled Argentina out of BRICS, he literally said that when he was running for president of Argentina, that he was going to pull Argentina out of BRICS. The reason he pulled Argentina out of BRICS was because he didn't want Argentina to be dominated by China. That's primarily why. He said that Argentina will not deal with communist countries like China. That's literally what he said. So he was clear on that. And I think he did the right thing by pulling Argentina out of BRICS, because I think that that he would have that China would have caused Argentina a lot of problems over time. But let me see here. I hope that answered your question on BRICS. Thoughts on business degrees, like supply chain. I went to school for business originally, but I never finished it. I changed my degree eventually in law enforcement, but I did take a little bit of business at the start, and I took like one semester of business and I dropped it after one semester. I did accounting, and after I finished accounting, I didn't want to do it anymore, because like I was thinking to myself, like, is this what I want to do? Just balance numbers? Like, this is not for me. I don't want to do this. So I just didn't like it. And here's the thing is, I will say that a business degree is, it really depends. If you want to start your own business, here's the thing, if you want to start your own business, a business degree is a waste of money. So if you want to start your own business, it's a waste of money. If you want to go work for a business, then a business degree is helpful. So if you want to work for another business, a business degree will help you. But if you want to start your own business, a business degree is a waste of money, if you know what I mean, Seth. Thank you for the super chat. I think, and I'll tell you something, is I run my own business. I run 2 rental properties. And I don't think that any kind of schooling would ever have helped me with running those properties. Do you know what has helped me the most with running my rentals? Experience. That's what basically helped me. Like, running the rentals, dealing with tenants, like, issues come up and stuff like that. It's like, dealing with that, realizing, like, what kind of problems come up, like, over time. That, like, this experience over time has, taught me to be a better landlord. That's pretty much it. Than, like, any kind of education would. Great news pro in chat. I finally got myself Manhunt 2 on PC, although it wasn't easy. I played up to the part where Leo kills Michael, Cash, and Danny. Where Leo, Oh, where Leo kills Michael. Oh, okay, you got it working on your PC. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I played the PS2 version of Manhunt 2 because I was scared it wasn't going to work. I was scared the PC version wasn't going to end up working. And... I did read your super chat, Sky. I literally, I answered your question on bricks. Like, I literally just talked about bricks for like 5-10 minutes before. What's my favorite GTA Street NPC line? I don't know. I can't really think of anything at the moment. I will tell you though that there's a there's a really funny line in there's a really funny line that that in Saints Row 2. In Saints Row 2, if you actually steal a car in Saints Row 2, one of the NPCs will sometimes say, if you figure out what that noise under the engine is, let me know. Like, that's what one of the NPCs says when you steal their car in Saints Row 2 sometimes. I think the funniest NPC dialogue in the funniest dialogue I think in Scarface is Scarface, the world is yours. In Scarface, Tony will sometimes say, so like the playable character, but Tony Montana will sometimes say a line in Scarface, and he'll say Sosa doesn't sound like he's he doesn't sound like he's from Bolivia. He sounds like one of those idiots from Miami Beach. That's what Tony says. He says in the Scarface game, he says when you're walking around as Tony, he'll sometimes say that line. He's like, Sosa doesn't sound like he's Bolivian. He sounds like he's one of those idiots from Miami Beach. That's I always thought that line was the funniest in the Scarface game. Thank you, Mr. Waifu. Thank you, Mr. EB Music. Okay. Oh, I got... Okay, I got cops already. How do I get cops? No, I've never had an internship in law enforcement. I haven't. Actions have consequences, Nico. There is that funny line where Nico sometimes says, "I'm a guest in your country." He says that too.
Of course not. You're in trouble and you need my help. No problem.
What do you mean, Jorge? Which army is more incompetent and disorganized in your opinion? The French Revolutionary Army or the early Soviet Army? The early Soviet Army, 100%. They are one of the most incompetent armies in history. Is the early Soviet Army. The French, I don't know why do you think the French Revolutionary Army was incompetent? They actually were pretty good back in the day. And the French Revolutionary Army, they beat Austria in a war, they beat Britain in a war, and they beat Prussia in a war too. So literally, they beat, pretty much everybody that had, gone to war with them. They also beat Sardinia, too, in a war. So why do you think the French Revolutionary Army was incompetent? They were actually pretty decent. I'll tell you is, I think the funniest line in GTA 4 is, in GTA 4, there's a really funny fail cutscene that you can get, or fail this scene. If you fail a mission in GTA 4, the mission fails right after. Nico will sometimes say, he's like, "Roman, I should have never read your effing emails and stayed away." That's what Nico sometimes says. Funniest dialogue from Saints Row 2, in my opinion, is, "Holy crap, this car is a CD player," and Scarface game dialogue is when Tony runs over civilians. Thank you, Mr. Waifu. Why do you like Saints Row so much? The gangs, the story, the map, the customization. If the early Soviet army was incompetent, how did they manage to overwhelm the Polish forces in the early phase of the Polish-Soviet War? Was it because of Tukhachevsky? Well, Tukhachevsky was one of the few competent Soviet commanders at that time, but the main reason was numbers. That was just pretty much it. If you look at wars Russia has fought throughout history, whatever the vast majority of wars that Russia has been involved in, and this is including all of the wars that Russia has also won in, the vast majority of wars that Russia has fought in its history, they have had more casualties than the people they were fighting. Even if they ended up defeating the enemy, they ended up having... Russia always had more casualties than the person they fought. So whoever the Russians fought, they always typically had more casualties than the people they fought. The Russians had more casualties than the French did when Napoleon invaded them. The Russians had more casualties against the Germans and the Austrian Hungarians in World War I. They had more casualties against the Germans in World War II. Literally, is the vast majority of conflicts is Russia typically has more casualties than the people that they are fighting against. The only war that I can think of that the enemy had more casualties than Russia did is probably in the Soviet-Afghan War. In the Soviet-Afghan War, more Mujahideen fighters died than Soviet soldiers. So that's probably one of the few conflicts where the people that Russia fought, they've had more losses than them. But it was, but typically it was that throughout history, it was Russia, throughout their military history, has had more losses than the people they fight against. Okay. No, I'm not Irish. My day was okay today. Wait, what wasabi guy? The Korean War was actually a pretty big and brutal war. It's oftentimes forgotten. What's the worst good game you've played, and vice versa? What do you mean by worst good game? Yes, they did, Gunner. They had like one of the largest cavalry charges in history too. Since you're a landlord, how do you manage to rental properties without issues? Excellent question. Thank you, Nikki, for the super chat. How I manage those 2 rental properties. One of the things that I do is, if I'm purchasing a rental property, I refuse to touch any building that is older than 20 years old. So I know people have told me before that there's buildings that are you know over 100 years old that have no problems, but I personally just don't like risking it. So I typically only like to buy new properties, buildings that are built within the last 20 years. And when I do that, I might spend a little bit more money, but there is less, less problems that are going to happen. So there's less issues that are going to ultimately happen. A second thing is you get good tenants. Because when you have good tenants, they're more likely to take care of the house, and there's going to be less problems, less stuff is going to break. But getting good tenants is hard. Because you never know who you're dealing with. Like, you could do a background check on somebody and they could, have a perfect record. But then they could turn out to be psychos. So, you're gonna buy another property soon? No, not for a long time. I'm good with 2 properties for now. I don't need a 3rd one right now. So it's, that's basically, it. And what I will say also is when there's a problem, I fix it right away. So like if anything, you know, anything breaks or anything like that, I'm on it right away. I deal with it right away. I deal with it immediately. That's it. 3 TV shows that valued or value making a lot of episodes over making a good show ending. The show before it declined. Well, probably The Walking Dead is definitely one. The Walking Dead got a really lot of stupid episodes. But I don't actually watch that much TV, Jorge, so I can't really answer it. But I can tell you Walking Dead is definitely one of them. That's like, The Walking Dead has like a lot of episodes that are like really bad episodes. Family Guy, yeah, Family Guy is a perfect example of one that has like, Family Guy has also bad, episodes too. I want to look this up. What is the worst Walking Dead episode? I'm curious what comes up. What is the worst Walking Dead episodes? It says the worst episode is Diverged. It was like a 2020 episode. Daryl and Carol separate, it says here. I've never seen this episode, because I stopped watching when the whole explosion with Rick happened. So, like, when Rick blew up, I stopped watching at that point. But it was, like, that was, Are you talking about the video where I was complaining about The Walking Dead, Rayan? Is that the one you're talking about? Oh, the Santa Blanca cartel would destroy the Chicago South Club. I know I told you to take a break and rest when we were chatting in PS5 chat, but I actually mean to give yourself a break sometimes. Well, I will. You know, next week or the week after, I'm gonna be visiting family in New York, and so I'll chill out more. But when I finish a lot of these playthroughs, because I got a lot of playthroughs that I gotta finish up. When I finish a lot of these playthroughs, I'll take a little bit more of a break, take it a little more easy. What season do you think The Walking Dead should have ended on? When they defeated Negan. So, like, when Negan lost and he was defeated, that's where it should have just ended there. I don't know when. Maybe I could do Alan Wake on Halloween. Maybe I could do that, Hustler. My favorite rapper? I would say my favorite rapper would probably have to be 50 Cent. Yeah, 50 Cent. I also really like Run DMC. I like, yeah, I like them too. What's your question, Phoenix? A non-gaming stream? I don't know, maybe I could do one in the future. Maybe when I hit 1,100,000, I could do one. Yeah, well, there's really nothing to do right now at my rental properties. My rental properties are in perfect condition. There's really no problems. My tenants haven't texted me of any issues. So, there's not really much to do with them right now, Nikki. Eminem's okay, yeah, too. Can I do a room tour? My room is nothing really special. And people will probably find it a bit boring. You know, I'm not that type of guy who like really decorates a lot. So, yeah, killing Carl was killing Carl was probably the stupidest. That was probably the stupidest decision ever in The Walking Dead. Yeah, that was probably really dumb. World in conflict. I'll look into it, Gunner. Pro's room is probably just empty with nothing but a bed on it. Well, you're kind of close, really. That's it's really I just have my bed in there, just like a drawer, and just a TV on the stand. That's really it. There is nothing really else. There's my room in my parents' house. That room is a little bit more decorations, like more stuff in that room. But like my room here in my apartment, there really is no there's really not much to it, honestly. And also where I'm playing on my where I stream is actually not in my bedroom where I stream. I actually stream in the living room. That's actually where I stream. So literally, I just have I have the computer in the living room, and that's literally where I stream from. You know what? Do you know what the most interesting room in my apartment is? The most interesting room in my apartment is the closet. That is literally the most interesting room, because the closet, I literally have so many different costumes in the closet. It's like ridiculous. It's like from all the cosplays and stuff, and like I see these comments of like people saying like his closet has to be like ridiculous, and it actually is. It's like there's just so many different costumes that I have from all the cosplays. Oh, okay, Juice. Okay, who wants to do a, who wants to do a heist? Like, right after this, we can do a heist, right? Anyone has a heist ready? Which war would I rather fight in? The Korean War or the Vietnam War? Easy answer, the Korean War. The reason I'd rather fight in the Korean War than the Vietnam War is because I can handle colder temperatures a lot more than I can handle tropical temperatures. So tropical temperature I probably would not be able to handle. I could handle North Korean winters no problem. If it was like the Korean War in the 50s. And the second thing is that in the Korean War you can see your enemy in the Korean War. You know who the enemy is. In the Vietnam War, you don't know who the enemy is. And that's because the enemy hides within civilians. So that's primarily the reason. I would say Korean War would be an easier war to fight in than the Vietnam War. Bro, the stupidest thing the Republic did in Star Wars, declaring war on the CIS is probably the stupidest thing they did in Star Wars, yeah. The Republic should have just let the CIS secede. There was no need to declare war on them. Yeah, I mean, you might be able to wait until it's like on sale. I mean, I mean, Black Friday is gonna be in 4 months, so it's so PS5s are probably definitely gonna be on sale around that time, sir. And you might be able to get a good bundle too. Do you think killing off characters is a way not to pay? Yeah, that is what happens a lot of times. Is if you ever notice when actors have a pay dispute with the directors, they kill them off. Have you ever noticed that? It's very common. Thank you, regular dude. Okay, who am I helping with a heist? Was it Own Titan? You asked me for a heist earlier, right? Well, Fixated, I can probably help you with your heist next time. I'm gonna help Own Titan, if that's okay. Because Own Titan asked me first to help him. Should PMCs be illegal or only ones who do bad stuff? When you say PMCs, you're talking about private military contractors, mercenaries, basically. Should PMCs be illegal? I don't think so. I think they should be heavily controlled. Because here's the thing is, when people think of mercenaries, they typically think of, like, bad people. And a lot of mercenaries are bad people. Like, if you look at Blackwater are some really bad guys. Like, Blackwater have committed war crimes. So, like, you know, they've done really bad things. And Merryweather is a parody off of them. So Merryweather is a parody of a real-life group, Blackwater. And then if you look at, like, if you look at, the Wagner Group, the Russian mercenaries, they've done horrible things. They've committed war crimes, too. So, you know, those two groups, you know, Wagner and, like, you know, Blackwater, those are, you know, bad groups, you know, mercenaries who, you know, really have no restrictions. They can, you know, get away with so much stuff. I would say that about mercenaries, though, is, there are mercenaries that are also do good things. You know, like, the best example of, like, mercenaries that are good people are, like, probably, like, the ship mercenaries. Like, you know, ships, because, like, if you ever notice, like, when ships, like, sail around the world, and you have, like, those guys with, like, M16s and M4s, like, in body armor that are, like, walking up and down ships, protecting them, they're mercenaries, those guys. And those guys aren't going to, like, war zones, they aren't going into random countries, and they're not destabilizing governments, they're not overthrowing governments, they're not, you know, committing war crimes, they're just protecting ships from pirates. So, like, you know, those guys aren't bad guys. They're just mercenaries protecting ships from pirates. So, I don't really think that, you know, those guys are bad guys. But, like, when you, like, compare it to, like, you know, Wagner or, like, you know, Blackwater, you know, those are, you know, some pretty bad people. So, that's what I'll say about it. And also, I'll tell you something. A lot of those ships that are in the ocean, if those ships didn't have mercenaries, a lot of those guys would have gotten robbed or died. So mercenaries have saved a lot of ships that have been, you know, could have been victims of pirates. Own Titan, can you invite me again? Because the invite didn't work. Qui-Gon Jinn, I think, is definitely the best Jedi. Definitely think so. Do you go to cosplay conventions? No. I've been to the Fallout event, before, though. It says it's full, Own Titan. I can't join, it's full. No, Count Dooku's not a psychopath. Palpatine is a psychopath, not Count Dooku. Yeah, hello, Mexico, Mo. I will do Watch Dogs 2 and Cyberpunk I might do one day, but I'll definitely do Watch Dogs 2. It's on my list after completing Watch Dogs 1. Own Titan, what's going on? Do you got room for me in the heist? Oh, wait, hang on. I think I got an invite again. Let's see. Is it still full? Okay. No, I don't drink liquor.
No, I don't drink liquor. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. What's the target in this heist?
Artwork.
Oh, that's easy. Are you sure you want... Okay. I mean, we could do it with 2 people, but if you want to have, like, a third person in here, it's fine. It's up to you.
Well, I promised DHC that I will give him a majority of the cut.
Okay, that's fine. It's your heist.
I owe him.
It's fine. It's your. I don't care. It's your heist. You know, do what you want. But I'm just saying is that the host can give himself a bigger cut because two people can steal all the artwork easily. Giving minimal cut 15%. Would I rather be a private or a privateer? Live during the 18th century? I don't know. I probably wouldn't like sailing on ships in the first place. No, the vast majority of Merryweather are just scumbags. What's your question, Phoenix? Hey, Patrick, hope you're doing well. Just curious, what's your opinion on the accusations against P. Diddy? Who's P. Diddy? Thank you, Eric, for the for being a member. Thank you for being a member for 4 years. Thank you, Eric. I would have to look that name up. It sounds familiar, but I actually don't even know who that is. Who's P. Diddy? He's an American rapper, it says. I don't pay attention to celebrities. Like, I don't even pay attention to celebrities at all, so that's how I don't know who that is. Yeah, I'm reading he's involved in, like, accused of sex trafficking. My God. That's, okay. Yeah, I don't know who a lot of these celebrities are, guys. I don't follow celebrities.
Let's hope no one's strafing you with light artillery right now, huh? Get in the helicopter. I'm sending the pilot the coordinates. Okay, softly approach. The only crew I know who can speak so little and still make so much noise. But here's hoping. The key to this whole job is to forget we're attempting a career-defining heist and stay calm. Are you calm? Good, because I'm calm. What's not to be calm about? If you screw up and they see you, we're just gonna do this the old-fashioned way, one dead guy at a time.
My favorite casino approach? Wait, we're taking helicopter? Okay. I haven't done this in some time, but... Yeah, I use OBS. No, I didn't know that, Gunner. Oh. Frank would probably win that melee fight, Hustler. Well, Santa Blanca cartel would destroy the Chicago South Club, Zach. Do you know what Boeing is? Yes, Boeing is an airline company that is also a massive defense contractor, and and also the thing about Boeing, what I'll say about them also is that their planes have just had so much incidents lately, and also there was those suspicious deaths of those whistleblowers. Normally, I don't like, you know, I don't really get into conspiracies much, but it was like the fact that like those whistleblowers started dying like randomly all of a sudden for like Boeing. Wait, what just happened? What? Wait, what just happened? Now I'm in an invite-only session? Wait, what? What just happened? What was that? What the hell was that? Well, I'm confused. I didn't even get a failed cutscene. I'm just in an invite-only session now. What just happened? Well, a lot of the stuff that the detectives do in LA Noire is illegal today, but... can you invite me again, please? I don't know what just happened. Thank you, Own Titan. I want to help you. Just invite me again, please. Oh, I'm just bored. I'm just waiting for his invite. How many enemies has my GT Online character killed? Stats. Combat. Let's see. Kills. My GT Online character has killed 226,790 people. So nearly 250,000 people my GT Online character has killed. And I've killed 15,215 players. Hopefully my bank has, can help me with investing with a CD. Thank you for the super chat, and CDs are, you know, a safe way to actually make money. They are FDIC insured, but they're very slow on just making money. Fears of Fathom is getting a new horror episode for the game. It's based on a true stories. I'm loving the game series. I recommend it for October streams with chat. Fears of Fathom. Who is the most powerful video game character you've ever played as? My Skyrim character. Are you gonna invite me? Oh, here we go. It's full. I met this YouTuber who was discussing why some bad SpongeBob episodes exist, and he was saying that the people who make the episodes aren't fans of the show. They just make episodes as a job. Do you agree? I think that a lot of the people are just rushing out these episodes, and like the thing is, the old SpongeBob episodes from like the early 2000s are always usually the best ones. Oh yeah, I think there definitely should be a more customization allowed. Red Eye, yeah. Okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. Gunner, is there like a Normandy mission in the Brothers in Arms games, like a D-Day mission? Well, they're probably not going to use a new engine for a GTA 4 remaster. They'll just probably give a PlayStation version with PC graphics. Probably what they'll do. Okay,
Okay, let's try this again.
I'm ready. Okay. Are you sure you want to go in through the helicopter?
We can go in, however, I don't really care.
Let's just do staff lobby. It'll be faster then.
Think so? Okay.
Hello again. I've been watching you since Gunrunning. I'm a conductor for the former KCS Railroad, now CPKC, and I'm not on often. It's nice to see you. Well, nice to see you too, Mexico Mo. Thank you for the super chat, man. You've been watching me since 2017. That's 8 years. Or no, 7 years, but yeah.
Okay, we're going in through the side door. I hope you brought your A game because you're not getting a warm-up. Drive over there and I'll be in touch. Okay, softly approach. With the only crew I know who can speak so little and still make so much noise. But here's hoping. The key to this whole job is to forget we're attempting a career-defining heist and stay calm. Are you calm? Good, because I'm calm. What's not to be calm about? If you screw up...
If the U.S. didn't join World War I, there's actually a huge possibility that Germany could have actually won that. Wait, what just happened? Oh, come on. Not again. Oh, now, oh my god. There's some issue that just happened again with this.
Yeah, I left you a message, remember me? You asked if my watch was a go?
When Russia pulled out of the war, Germany took all their troops from the Eastern Front and put them on the Western Front, and France and Britain could have actually gotten overwhelmed. I don't know why it loaded so fast, too. I don't know then, Own Titan. Own Titan, let's try it one more time. Just invite me. If it does it one more time, then I guess I'll just get off for the night and we can just do it another time. But just invite me one more time. We'll just see if it works again.
Ooh, nice ride. You doing it big, homie. Hello, this is Carlson. Fuck this. Alright, we must be high.
No, I'm not sleepy. I'm just probably just gonna get some food after.
My new website covers all three of
Okay, Own Titan. Here's the thing I'll say about the assassination of Franz Ferdinand.
Love your ride, hon.
If Franz Ferdinand was not assassinated, World War I would have still happened. So even if he was never assassinated, the war would have still happened. It was it would have started over something else stupid. How did World War I even start? The heir to the Austrian throne, Franz Ferdinand, was assassinated by a Serbian ultranationalist. The Austria-Hungary used that as an excuse to invade Serbia, and Germany backed up Austria-Hungary in that invasion. And then Serbia had an alliance with Russia. Russia mobilized, declared war on Germany and Austria-Hungary. Germany attacked Russia. Then Russia had an alliance with France, where France declared war on Germany. Germany invaded France through Belgium. Belgium had a treaty with Britain, and then Britain attacked Germany. declared war on Germany. So literally, World War One was just a giant like chain reaction of just countries constantly declaring war on each other because of just a bunch of treaties that have basically gone wrong. When you really think about it, World War One was such a stupid like conflict, or how it just the whole thing just started for such dumb reasons. If anybody has ever watched a hockey fight, you ever watch it happen when like two hockey players start fighting and then both their teams just jump into a big fist fight and they start fighting each other? That's basically what World War One was like when it started. Literally just like that. It was like two idiots fighting each other, and then what ended up happening is everyone else jumped in, and that's literally how World War One was. What do you mean into Russia during World War II, Mexico and Mexico Mo? And MacArthur made a massive mistake getting so close to the Chinese border during the Korean War. It was a big mistake he did. Okay, try this heist again one more time here. Are there any World War II weapons still being used in the military today, Pro? Yes, there are. The two most common World War II weapons still used in service is there's actually a World War I weapon that's actually still in service to this day. And that is actually the 1911. The 1911 handgun, some militaries still use it. Even parts of the U.S. military, I think, still use it. So, literally, the 1911 is a World War I handgun that is still used to this day. The most common World War II weapon still used today is probably the MG42. That is probably the most common weapon that's still used. And yes, for people wondering, the German World War II machine gun military still to this day use the MG42, but the MG42 is not called the MG42. The modern version is actually called the MG3. And what the MG3 basically is, it's an Italian version of the MG42, and the only difference between the MG3 and the MG42 is that the MG3 is a slow rate of fire, and that's primarily so that the barrel doesn't overheat as quickly, and also so that it's easier to control. That's basically it.
Okay, so we're going in through the side door. I hope you brought your A game because you're not getting a warm-up. Drive over there, I'll be in touch.
General Patton said he wanted to continue into Russia after the fall of Nazi Germany because two birds with one stone. MacArthur had a similar vision. No. That would have been horrible. You know, millions more people would have died. That's like, you know, nobody wants another, you know, world war. Thank you, Mexico Mo. And yes, it was the MG42 was nicknamed Hitler's buzzsaw. That is true. Thank you, I am Batman.
What's not to be calm about? If you screw up and they see you, we're just gonna do this the old-fashioned way, one dead guy at a time. Okay, do you want the good news or the bad news? Well, the good news is that they just had a record-breaking weekend, so the vault is full to bursting. And the bad news is that they've hired extra security to guard it. High risk, high gain. Just how we like it.
I do want to play Fallout 4 one day on the channel, yes.
Hey, did you try out your stun gun yet? This is going to be your best friend. It'll overload the circuits on any CCTV camera or metal detector it hits. They recover after a while, so as far as security
Okay, we're good to go.
it was just a temporary out. That's it. Head through the door.
Worst TV dinner? Oh, I'm not sure. Did you ever see the video where a Karen is abusing a customer service worker so bad that the worker quits and threatens to run out into traffic? No, what the hell? This happened recently? Sir William, what's the video called? Yeah, this And did they ever explain what happened to the second Krusty Krab? Because there's a second Krusty Krab, and it just closed. Or did they ever explain what happened with that in the SpongeBob movie? Uh, your CEO quit. Wait, what? Oh no. Um, I guess there's some internet problems going on. Based off the event, don't blame Own Titan, guys. It's not his fault. I don't know what's going on right now. Based off the event that led to World War I, are we heading into World War III, and are you buying the new Metal Gear Solid? I'll probably buy the new Metal Gear Solid, but I'm gonna play Metal Gear Solid 1. I'm gonna do a playthrough of it when I get the chance. I don't think we have to worry about World War III. I know people are like scared about that happening, but when you think about it, is that if one country started World War III, everyone else would die, and nobody wants to die. So literally, I wouldn't worry about it too much because there's so many nuclear weapons out there that like countries are just completely scared of like a world war. So I wouldn't worry about it. Even the craziest dictators are not going to, start a world war because they're scared of their countries getting blown up too. So I wouldn't panic thinking that World War III is going to happen. It's fine. He's not trolling me. I've known Own Titan for a long time. He's a nice guy. It's just there's probably some internet problems going on. Okay, I guess I'll probably wrap it up here. I can probably help you with your heist either tomorrow or another time, Own Titan. I'm just a little tired, and I just probably want to have some dinner first here. How did I discover GTA? It was just a game that was just popular when I was a kid, and I played Vice City. Please accept this $20 donation as compensation for the waste of your time. I'm going to smash my router into little bits. Every time I work hard for something, it gets ruined. No, don't worry about it, Own Titan. It's fine. Thank you for the super chat. Don't apologize, and you don't have to give me a super chat to apologize. I appreciate it, but you don't have to give me a donation to apologize. If you want, I can send it back to you too. It's like you don't have to. You don't have to donate that to me. I appreciate it, but it's you don't have to donate to me to apologize. I know there's internet problems, and look, don't blame yourself. You remember like a week, 2 weeks ago when I was playing GT Online, I had internet issues, and I have typically good internet, and I had like 2 of my streams crash in a row. So literally, we all have internet issues. So like, don't worry about it. It's if you want, I can send you that $20 back. You don't need to give that to me. But thank you for the super chat. But that's but it's not your fault. Stuff happens. It's internet issues. It's out of your control. It's I'm gonna have a GTA 5 lore video next Saturday, by the way, guys. I think you guys will really like it when I upload it. Okay, Juice. Next Fallout 3 part this week. I just don't know exactly when, but I'm trying to I think I'm gonna finally go to Tranquility Lane on the next part. Is everything okay, Own Titan? Are you fine though, dude? What will the lore video be about? The lore video is going to be a GTA 5 single player video. Did you ever send me a message to Kansai? It's going to be a I know, OG. I'll probably add you later or tomorrow. But the lore video is going to be a GTA 5 single player. It's going to be something on the GTA 5 single player. Yeah, sorry about that. I had a slight panic attack. I didn't want anyone mad at me. I'm not mad at you, Own Titan, so don't worry about it. And like I said, you don't have to donate to me to apologize. It's not even your fault. So it's like you didn't do anything wrong, and so it's if you want, I can send you that $20 back. I do appreciate it, but it's like I just feel bad that you sent me like $20 to apologize to me for like the heist. It's not your fault. So it's just don't worry about it. It's stopping to say, well, I don't want to get involved in politics, though, Mario. Thank you for the super chat. I don't want to talk any politics. I stay away from it in a gaming channel, mainly. Will it be about Michael and witness protection? No, pro, that $20 is yours. Well, thank you. Thank you, man. Will it be about Michael being witness protection? No. But the lore video is going to be me covering something that probably most people actually didn't cover. It's actually going to be explaining a background story. So there is a background story. It's not really explained in the GTA 5 story. It's more like the story in the open world. So there's like a background story, like a certain event that happens in the game and like a certain character that this involves in, and I'm basically going to explain what happened with that story and like basically explaining the backstory behind that, because a lot of people are confused, and explaining basically what happened. I don't want to say what character this is going to be about. The only thing I'm going to say is it's a character that pretty much most YouTubers haven't covered when they talked about lore, and so I think people are going to find it really interesting, and just me explaining basically what happened. But Own Titan, I could help you with your heist tomorrow. If tomorrow doesn't work, then I could just help you with your heist, next stream. If you want to have it on the stream, we could do it next stream. But I don't blame you. It's don't blame Own Titan, guys, because he had some internet issues. We all have internet issues. Remember, like 2 weeks ago, I had internet issues. Like two of my, I had to restart the GTA stream like 3 times. So it's like we all have those bad days where something's wrong with our internet. Thoughts on the insight mechanic in Spirit of Justice? It was okay, but I will tell you about the insight mechanic. That one question, do you remember that one question in Spirit of Justice, where basically it was like, the answer was like pain, and it was like after it went dark, the person like felt pain, and it was like, it was like, that question was like so vague. Do you get what I mean? Because like somebody could have been knocked out and like then they felt pain. So like when it was like it went dark and then he felt pain afterwards. That was the contradiction that you were supposed to find. But it was like I didn't really think much of it, because I was thinking that somebody could get knocked out where they could just see black and they're not going to feel pain yet, and then they could feel pain afterwards, because so like I didn't really think anything much of that one, and I was like struggling with that one. But it was I thought that was like a very vague answer. Like, did anyone agree with me on that one? It was like a really vague one. And so like all the other questions I got right in that case. Like pretty much every single other thing I got right with like the cross-examination, everything like that. It was just that one part with that point, like with like that the seance and like stuff like that. Like that was like the only one part I struggled in that case. Thank you, Ryan. What is the difference between communism and socialism? Socialism is a very controlled, economy. It still allows some free market. It still allows some private ownership, but it's a very, heavily controlled economy. Where the government basically controls a lot of people's, personal lives, and plays a much greater role in the economy. The communism is basically where the state owns everything. So there's no private property. There's no private business allowed. There's caps on the amount of money that people can make. I'm on PS5. I play on PS5. You messed up the minima key, though. Yeah, I guess you are right. Yeah, on that one. Because I remember he said Magatama key, and then it was minima key. Yeah, you are right. I did mess that part up, right? Yep. The next case I'll do really good in, though. Well, it's a racist, you know, evil ideology, zombie fanatic. Nazism is worse than communism. It's, yeah, I would say communism is horrible too, but I would say, like, Nazism is, like, one of the few governments that's even worse than communism. What is your opinion on New Vegas fans hating on Fallout 4 and 76? It's not just them hating on Fallout 4 and 76. Like, a lot of New Vegas fans hate on Fallout 3 also. Fallout 3 is my favorite Fallout game. It is. And the reason I like Fallout 3 so much because I like the Capital Wasteland more than Vegas. And I just feel like Fallout 3 is just a more darker and grittier game than, like, New Vegas. Which one was worse, CIA or KGB? I would say they're both equally bad. Before Call of Duty Battlefield Medal of Honor, have you ever played Army Men series? Yes, I have. The PS1 games with the plastic figures, I played those, yeah. I can maybe play the original Medal of Honor one day. I don't curse anymore because I don't really think it's professional, honestly. Well, the Farrelly family's gonna last longer, Hustler. Well, I actually did record a second video with Dark Viper AU, a second GTA GeoGuessr one. I don't want to reveal who won that one. But basically he still hasn't uploaded it. So it's like and I know he's busy. So you know he's busy. He has a lot of projects to do still. But it's like whenever he's probably gonna get around to it soon, and he's probably going to upload it. But I recorded a second video with him. So it's up to him whenever he's gonna upload it. I know he's busy with a lot of stuff, but I think here's the thing about it is I think that out of all the Fallout games, I would say that Fallout 3 probably has the most darkest setting. I think that New Vegas has the best factions. I think we can agree with that. I think that Fallout 4 has the best gunplay. And I think that Fallout 76, what would Fallout 76 be the best at? It definitely has something that it can be the best at. Probably the most support, Fallout 76, the most support out of all the games. So that's probably what I would say about it. I did do a play for Medal of Honor Frontline, though. The creepiest dream I've ever had? I don't know. Well, the Viceroys definitely wouldn't have a chance against Santa Blanca. Even if Viceroys and South Club, Chicago South Club teamed up, they still couldn't beat Santa Blanca. I don't know. I mean, that's your opinion, War Clips. I just don't think the dialogue in Fallout 4 is as good as some of the other ones. But yeah, Fallout 4 does have really good building mechanics. That's one good thing about that too. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. That's the thing I would say is okay. People wanted me to list what each Fallout game is the best at. Fallout 3, I think, has the best, dark and gritty atmosphere. So, like, I think the best, like, here's the thing: is Fallout 3 I think has the best environment, like out of all the series, like for a nuclear apocalypse. Because here's the thing: New Vegas, you could make the argument that New Vegas is like, has a lot more stuff and better factions, sure. But the thing is, New Vegas doesn't really have that nuclear apocalypse feeling when you really think about it. It's New Vegas is it's if you do the DLCs in New Vegas, then okay, maybe some of the DLCs have more of that nuclear apocalypse feeling. But Fallout 3 is definitely has the nuclear apocalypse feeling to it. So I think Fallout 3 has definitely the best environment and in the series. I think New Vegas has the best factions in the series. I think Fallout 4 has the best gunplay in the series. And I think Fallout 76 is the best customization in the series. I think that's probably the best way to sum up the games. Do you think the PS5 ever be backwards compatible with PS1, PS2, PS3? No. No, I don't think they're ever going to go that way. They could have gone that way for some time. I don't think they're going to go that way. Thank you, Suspect 13. And if PS6 comes out, there's a chance that PS6 might not let us play PS4 games too. Okay, so I guess I'll be I guess I'm gonna be going here, guys. Thank you, Suspect 13, for that super chat. But yeah, I don't think PS5 is gonna have any backwards compatibility. I don't believe those rumors. So like until I see direct proof, I'm not gonna believe them personally. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for stopping by on the stream. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.